Good morning, Banky.
Good morning, Sherry.
How are you doing today?
I am good. How are you?
Cold one. I'm good, but it's cold. It's cold.
Yes, it is. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Bombshell Impact, brought to you by Business Takeout. I'm your host. My name is Banky. I'm a graphic and web designer and a social media manager. And the name of my business is Banky Designs Inc. Sherry, can you please introduce yourself for those who are just tuning in for the first time and tell us about Bombshell Impact?
Sure, absolutely. So my name is Sherry Ann Woolley. For those who don't know, I'm a systems and process workflow coach. So I help people remove the chaos out of, searching for day-to-day documents and figuring out their day-to-day workflow. I remove that confusion with systems. We're here today through the Bombshell Impact. And the Bombshell Impact is a group that we designed to and dedicate to women, really, to help further their development in business, their brand, their product, their company, and themselves. So it's a free, private environment where ladies can come to enjoy kind of a safe, encouraging, and positive environment. Get answers to business questions, get value from the topics that we share. Banky and I think I always say between us, we could pretty much help anybody in business with your marketing background and that kind of stuff. And then in business and organization. So quite a base of knowledge here, I guess, if you will. And I think the link for that will be on the screen if you want to join the Bombshell Impact. Otherwise, that's who we are.
Yes. And for those who are just tuning in today we're having a conversation about social media planning, the benefits of social media planning. So if you're just tuning in, please give it a like and share. And just share the video with your network.
Yeah, so today we're going to talk about of having a social media content planner. And this is so fitting for today because we've been talking a lot about planning over the past month. I made a business planner to help people achieve their goals in business generally. But when we talk about planning, it's really the mapping out and the strategy that you lay down to get places. In your case, what is a social media content planner?
So before we dive into that, we're just going to focus on social media branding. And the reason why I want to start there first is because it goes into the whole social media planner. So just to start it off, before you have a logo, before you do a website, before you do any of that, you need to identify what your branding story is. And social media branding forms a natural and essential part of your overall marketing efforts. And, so that way you can have your social media fluent and consistent on various platforms such as Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn. Branding is about managing your company's image and your identity across all platforms. And it really is important because it allows you to interact with your clients and other groups, not just to advertise your product and service, but it also help others to share your content, and ultimately it will give you a greater impact for your business. So the benefits of a social media planner, we're going to get to that towards the ending because there's so much that we're going to cover on today's show that it will lead into the overall benefits of today's of the social media planner.
Okay. So what is your first step in planning a social media strategy?
The first step in planning a social media strategy is setting your goals, knowing the right social media goals that you want to start off with. And you need to identify what your branding story is to really set those goals, because your goals have to be in alignment with your objectives and your plan. So that's why identifying your branding story from the very beginning is crucial, because then it helps you plan your goals accordingly and know what your goals are for social media.
Okay. So
Sorry, go ahead, Terry.
Go ahead.
No, I was just about to really go into different aspects of the SMART goals that we discussed in previous episodes. Being specific with those goals, measuring, having it be achievable and realistic, and have it done in a timely manner. So those are things that we really want to take into consideration. Just defining your objectives, aligning them with your social media goals, and using the SMART technique to really put that into fruition, just to really implement that.
Cool.
So yeah, so it takes into a lot of different things, because with that you're able to starting off, know your audience, gather data. You're able to know what your competitors are doing and who your competitors are. And then, we can go into the next step of a social media audit. But all of that stuff, knowing that along with your branding story, would help you know what your goals are. And having that information beforehand would make you align your goals. And so that way you can go into your social media audit.
Okay. So you talked about social media audit quite a bit. What does that mean?
Well, a lot of people, when they hear the word audit, you know what they think about? They think about
right.
Exactly. They see all these numbers and they're like, oh, what do you mean? Right? So it has nothing to do, it has a lot to do with numbers, but it's not as technical as you think. It really comes down to really tracking and knowing how you're performing on social media. That's pretty much what you do. You're working with the numbers, the metrics that are provided to you, the insights that are provided to you on all your social media platforms, and really analyzing that data and really saying, what does that mean, right? So that's pretty much when you do your social media audit, you're really taking into all of that into consideration. The planner that I've launched today, I did a pre-launch today with my planner. It really has a lot of templates in there that helps you track all your social media followings. It helps you track basically your metrics all in one place. So that way you're able to know how you're doing on all different platforms, all in one place. And having that information that you can look at all together and see the bigger picture, that's really helpful.
That's amazing. Okay, so how often would you conduct an audit, a social media audit?
That can be done pretty much like ongoing basis. So it's not a one-off situation. Depends on I would really start off by doing it on a quarterly basis. And once you get the hang of it and see how your business is doing, then you can change it on a monthly basis. It's really up to you if you want to conduct it on a quarterly basis or on a monthly basis.
And what do you, once you find out what you need to improve on, what do you do next?
Pretty much what you do next is that you refine your strategy, right? So you go back into what has been working. So you look at what content resonates with your audience and what did not resonate. You look at what needs improvement. You look at what your competitors are doing, and you look at and what are you doing in comparison to them. And then you can then refine your strategy to make it better.
Okay. Can you share the link to your planner with us? I don't know if you want to read it out or write it out, and then maybe our producer can put it up there. Do you have a link for the planner?
Yes. Basically, it's banki.ca, banki.ca. That would be the link for your planner, for my planner.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Okay, so now tell us a little bit about more about your actual planner and why having a plan and a social media planner is important when you're building a strategy, let's say, for social media.
Yes, so basically, my planner is a planner for entrepreneurs. It really helps you pinpoint a lot of different things to make your make you improve your presence on social media. So having the knowledge of all the important dates, knowing, helping you be consistent with your posting on social media, the metric tools that are in there, having you brainstorm ideas to really have the creativity process run smoothly. Basically, those are like one of some of the major benefits of my planner. It takes into consideration branding questions that you should really identify before even coming up with your strategy. So, and there's also some great content engagement tips. There's great content creation tips. And yeah, it helps you align your goals for social media. So it's a very useful tool to really identify your goals and your vision for your business. And it really help you come up with a concise strategy that identifies your objectives so you don't lose sight of your vision, and so that way your business can evolve more effectively.
So now, when you have a content planner, does that work in conjunction with a calendar, another planner? Like, how does one really use a content planner? Because I know that I've seen lots of templates online and so forth, but unless you know what to put in it, how to fill it out, and how to kind of move, like at what frequency, how do you know that kind of stuff?
Well, there's instructions in there. In every step, there is instructions guiding you of what to do next. But there is also a calendar in there. So the calendar would help you plan on a weekly basis and a monthly basis what to do, and it also allows you to put your ideas on paper. Sometimes when you write your ideas out, you're able to really see the overall picture, and pretty much that's what the planner does. It really helps you uh, see the bigger picture of what you're doing on social media, so you're not winging it.
So if if we're using your social media planner, that should be all that we need in our business, because it includes, in terms of marketing, really, because it would include, what we're doing on the social media platforms, but it also has a calendar of when to do it, correct?
Exactly. And it helps you know your audience, right?
Right.
So it helps you know your audience. So it's you have different social media platforms. You have Facebook, you have Instagram, you have Chatter, Chatter, Snapchat, TikTok, whatnot. So knowing where your audience is on social media is really key, right? I'll give you an example. If you have a business caters to seniors, for example, you won't really be on Snapchat because, a lot of older people are not on Snapchat. You have to, unless they're sending nudes to each other, I don't know. But really and truly, they're not on Snapchat, right? So you have to know where your audience is. So it's really important to really identify your branding story, so that way you know where your audience is on, so that way you can select the right platform um, to really market.
I want to go back to the topic of audit again, if you don't mind. You kind of explained, we're going to audit our different social media platforms and then come up with a plan. But how do we know what we're looking for in the audit? And how do we know that what we're doing online is right or wrong?
So the best way to do it is to look at the top posts that you have for the month or a quarterly basis, however you're doing it, knowing what your top post is, right? And you will know that by the amount of engagements, the reach of audience, for example, how many people came across your post and how many people reacted to it, and what were the comments, what were the feedback, how were they engaging with it, were they sharing it with others, those type of things you have to take into consideration. And really what you're looking at is your top post. And when you look at your top post, you're looking at, why did this work? Why did people really like it? Right? And you're looking at, that's a good way to start, because understanding why they liked it, why they shared it, understanding the whys behind that will help you form the direction of where to go next moving forward. So, if a lot of people like video content on your social media, right? You can look at what type of videos were you doing? Was it how-to videos? You know, was it a video of, if you're a chef, was it a video of you showing a recipe? Or was it, if you're a fitness person, was it, if you're in a fitness field, were you exercising and showing people how to do particular techniques? You really have to know why it works. So that way, when you are in the refining stage of, refining your social media strategy, then you can then create content that are in alignment with what's working for your brand.
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
I know that that's kind of similar when we're doing a systems audit. So if I get a client, I just got one this week, first time they asked me to do an audit in their business. And I guess I kind of been doing audits in the past, just looking at what they had set up, what's working, what's not working, and then making recommendations based on what I know in terms of systems and making things smooth. So I can totally relate to that in marketing. So now I want to ask, how do I know what marketing kind of tactics to take on, and how many should I take on?
I would say, if you're starting off, I would do no more than 2 social media accounts, knowing which 2 are best and that are right for your audience, right? So I would say for someone who's starting off, you start off with 2. Then you can go up to 3, right? So again, it's knowing your audience, collecting information about your audience, and knowing what your competitors are doing. You would know exactly where to start with that.
And when it comes to the information that I picked up through my audit that tell me what's working, what's not working, where do I get that information? You talked about likes and engagement. Is it simply scrolling through my page and looking at those numbers, or is there a way that I should be capturing and documenting this information?
So the great thing about my social media content planner, it includes all the metric tools, tracking tools in there. So that way you can track everything in one spot. If you didn't have this planner, what you would be doing is going to Facebook, looking at your business page on Facebook and seeing what the metrics are. Going into YouTube and looking at what the metrics are on YouTube. Going into Instagram and looking at what the metrics are, and going into all of those things individually. If you have a scheduling posting tool, some of them have the analytics in there. You'd have to really go in there and see if it's really in alignment with what you're looking for overall as well. So an example of that is an analytics tool in a social media posting device tool, social media tool. They might show you an overall of how your business page is doing, but it may not show you how a specific content, how all your videos are doing. That's really important to know, so you can understand what's working and what's not working. So
each piece of content type, etc., and really drill down.
Exactly. So the amazing benefit of my planner is that everything is in one section of the planner. You can really go there, and then it asks you questions. So you can just put in the numbers, basically. And then when you look at it and when you're ready to refine your strategy, you can look at the overall big picture, and then you can see what's working and what's not working. And that's really what it comes down to when it comes to planning your content, is knowing what's working and what's not working.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Can we just jump to the questions? I saw a few comments flashing across the screen. Maybe we can get those on. What do you consider social media goals? Tanya is asking.
That is a great question. So your social media goals might be how many followers you want to get on social media. It might be how many sales you want to get from social media. It's over a specific particular time, and you have to be very specific. And brand awareness can be your social media goal. How many leads you want to generate on social media. Looking at your social media to generate traffic to your website. It depends on what type of business you're doing. Those are things that you can really look. If you're hiring and you're doing ads on social media, is it really working for you to really bring the applicants to your website to apply for the positions that you're hiring for? Those are a lot of the different things that you would look for when it comes to setting up your social media goals. And when you do that, you also have to take into consideration your branding story, identifying who you are, how people perceive you as a brand, and really incorporating that with the way your message is being delivered to your audience.
Beautiful. I wanted to, there's another question we're going to take in a second, but I just wanted to say that now is the time, folks. If you have questions about Banky, about social media, about her planner, now is the time. This is her wheelhouse. So please send your questions forward. We're going to take them now. Can we get the next question up on the screen, please? Wayne asks, is there a digital version of the planner?
That is a good question.
Hard copy, what is it?
It's a hard copy, is what it is. And the reason for it is that when you write, you really retain everything more easier. But I can look into having a digital copy as well. A lot of the feedback that I had in my inbox this morning was, is there an e-copy? So yes, I will definitely look into having that. And if I decide to do that, you'll definitely know about it.
An expert's work is never done, Banky. That's the reality of it. But we do know that the subconscious plays a heavy role and impressing the brain, impressing upon the brain what it is that you're doing is much stronger when you write it out. Your brain can retain much better when you actually write things out versus typing things out. So really, really kind of important to know that. I personally, I'm old school, so I don't know if it's because of my age, but I do write things out. I find I retain it better. I feel more accomplished, even if it means I'm going to go put it on the computer after. I write it out first. My planner was done on paper before it was done on digitally. So that's a really good point that you raised there. Do we have any more questions? I saw a lot of comments saying this is great info and thank you for the info. Okay, I guess that's it from the questions. So again, can you just go over, the goal of the planner and how people can get the planner from you?
Yes. So the social media content planner for entrepreneurs, it's a 12-month social media planner. It's designed to help entrepreneurs build an effective marketing strategy to fuel their business growth. The benefit of a social media planner is numerous because it helps you organize your social media goals. It helps you refine your social media strategy. This planner covers many topics such as your social media goals, your social media auditing, the metric tools that we spoke about, having a social media strategy, creating social media content and different techniques that you can use to do that, refining your social media strategy, and also having action items in place. So that way you can really be on the ball to really conquer your social media life. So it's a really effective tool. It's for all entrepreneurs, regardless of which industry you're in, should have this. And I would really suggest you check it out.
Now, does this planner work for someone who's just starting out, or do they have to be established with all of the bells and whistles in place already?
It's for both. It really is for both. If you're just starting off, it's useful because it starts from the very beginning when you talk about knowing what your brand is. And I get this a lot from clients who come to me because they want a logo, they want a website done. And the very first question is, do you know what your brand is? Do you know the story you want to tell your audience? And that is really key because a lot of the content that you're creating, your branding story speaks in that. So, yeah.
I think that's a great topic for us to get into next week, that branding story. I think it's a major deficit for people in business. They don't quite think about it that way, and therefore they struggle with how to build an effective brand and how to push an effective brand, which makes posting very difficult, which makes coming up with content very difficult, right? So there's a combination of tools and resources that need to be done. But most definitely, I think that planner is key, because when you're new to behaving online, I know this is the truth for me, keeping track of everything. You talked about tracking, you're on 2 platforms. Let's say you're just starting out, when to do, what to do, the content, what you can speak about. There's a lot that goes into it. So I'm glad that you've created this planner. I think it would be very helpful for people just getting their feet wet in the online space. So I just want to thank you again for that. I'm going to take that question that's on the screen there from Wayne. What is the evidence or case studies that show that using your planner versus not improves my branding story? That's a good
wow. That's an amazing question. I can tell you that 97% of businesses are on social media right now. And the way to do it right is to know what your branding is, and then implementing the branding in your story. I don't know as an exact case study, but I can look that up for you. That can really speak into that. But what I can tell you is that a lot of people, when they go on social media, when they're doing their posting, they may not go about it the right way. One person I remember saying, I said it in a previous show, it's not about creating just content, but creating dope content. And the way you do that is to really know your audience, knowing your audience and knowing what resonated, what your audience likes and what they like about your brand. All of that is really important.
And let's face it, when you use a planner, you're actually planning, right? So it helps you kind of build and fill in your story. People don't recognize that your brand story is your failures, your successes, your perseverance. It's everything that's happened along the path to you building a business. It might even be something that happened before you started to build your business, right? So many people have started a business out of, trying to get their family out of the streets, out of, having lost their job and suddenly being jobless. So I think that the planner helps, because it helps you, and any planning, quite frankly, helps you plan it out, plot it out, and really ensure that your story is sequential so that your audience can follow. If they can't follow the story, then you've lost them. And that's the whole point of planning plus story.
Exactly. So a lot of people, they might start entrepreneurship based on some type of pain they have experienced in life. And a lot of those pains really birth the direction of their life, right? And having it documented in the right way, the way you tell it, you got to keep in mind that you are in control of your life. Take control of your business. And you do it by planning it out effectively and doing it the right way.
Nice. Gail says very true. Do we have any more questions or comments from the audience? Okay. So again, this is the business takeout platform. We're here from Bombshell Impact. We're here every Saturday at noon Eastern. We're here to educate and help motivate business people who need help getting to the next level in their business. We'll put the group on the screen there. If you want to join Bombshell Impact, please go ahead and join. It is a private group, and we do aim to share valuable content that you can actually use in your business, regardless of where you are, to move forward. Banky, any final words?
Yes. To get the planner, go to www.banky.ca. And you can just pre-register for your planner. It's a pre-order form that's there. I will definitely look into having e-copies available. And join the Facebook group. For those who are just tuning in, you missed a great show. So you can always watch the replay. I will definitely say thank you, everyone, for tuning in today.
Thank you, everyone. We'll see you next week.